So I love me some coffee. Some of you probably know that. So I got this Yeti mug thingy. I got this idea from Lucas, so it keeps my coffee hot all day long. So I could sip coffee all day long. There's no reason for me to tell you this other than the fact that I really want to sip my coffee, and it's an excuse for it to come closer to my face, which is where my mouth hole is. So I could have it. Is it better to invest more money into lenses or lighting? Of course, that is going to depend, which I know is a word you guys love when I use, because it depends on what sort of filmmaker you are. Are you someone who's totally cool with available light, or are you really wanting to get into shaping your light if that's something really important to you? For me personally, which is the only answer I can really give, lenses would definitely be the way to go first. Your lens is probably the most important thing to your image, in my opinion, more so than the camera itself, more important than the camera 9 times out of 10, in my personal opinion. It shapes so much of the look and the character of the final image that you're going to get, of course, within reason. If you're working off a $50 camera that just looks like a potato versus, an Alexa, I mean, obviously, but within reason, the lens is far more important. And you can build out insanely cheap DIY lighting kits that are very effective, that I still use pieces of to this day. And in the beginning was pretty much my entire light kit, like can lights, which you can get for like $7 or $8, and pop a normal tungsten light in there. And then there you go, get a couple of those and a shower curtain or different things that we've shown how to build over the years. And you could definitely very easily build your own lighting kit that you can get started with. With lenses, not so much the case. So I would focus on getting a really nice kit together with your lenses and then go from there. What would be the top 3 things that you would like to see new filmmakers learn that are commonly overlooked? If pacing could be all 3 of the things, that would be great. And that is something that comes only from experience. You're only seeing where the pacing is lacking when you've gained enough experience to be able to sort of feel that based off of the things that you have come to learn from everything that you've done before, which brings to the point that I've talked about before, where most new filmmakers are just wanting to get their stuff online, wanting to get an audience. Why aren't I getting more views? How do I get more subscribers? Instead of focusing on how do I get better? How do I perfect my craft? And I wonder sometimes if that's the difference between wanting people to know that you made something and wanting to make something that's just great, regardless of who knows if you made it or not. Of course, we all want to be recognized for our hard work and for our passions, but I just wonder if there's, I don't know, I'm sort of thinking out loud. I was lucky enough to start before that was even an option, so that wasn't even a thought in my head, whereas now that's like, drilled into our brain 24/7 with every YouTube video you see, even ours, watch, like, share, subscribe. And I wonder sometimes if that's hindering the art or the progression of the artist because too much attention is being put on that. So I would definitely put that as a healthy number 1 above all else, is just, going back to the fundamentals of figuring out what makes something work or not. Notice I didn't say good or not, because that's subjective. Is it working? Is it working for the people that will connect with your work? And I think you just need to, in the beginning, take time to figure that out, to just go in your corner and just do the work, head down, thing after thing, figuring it out and showing it to a small group and then figuring that out more. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot more lately. And the third one will be audio. People definitely overlook that more often than not. I think with everything that's sent to me, the 2 notes I usually give the most is about the audio and the pacing. So I think those 3 as a whole, with an emphasis on, if you're just starting out, really giving yourself a ton of time to just do the work and get better, gain experience, and, turn on some light switches so you're not stumbling around in the dark before you're trying to get views and subscribers. Can you give advice on how to direct a big project properly? Ballistic was the biggest thing I ever directed. Definitely a large production when it comes to small indie short film type things. I mean, we had over 100 people on set one day, big practical effects, stunts. I don't even remember how many cameras, like 8 cameras for like a couple of the shots, at least 4 cameras continuously rolling. So there was a lot going on and a lot of people working and a lot to wrangle and keep in my mind, especially because it was action. That can get very complicated very quickly with no storyboards or everything and having to flip things on the fly. And I didn't find it really any different than a very, very small crew of when we shot Sentinel, which was, I think there was a total of 7 of us, 0 money, 1 camera, no lighting, and we just went out and did it. And as far as directing goes, it's pretty much the same thing. And with the bigger projects, in some ways it can get a little easier because you have all these departments and you have all these heads of departments who are extremely talented at what they do that you can lean on a lot more. So you're wearing fewer hats and you're able to focus in a lot more on certain things. And with the right team around you, you have this support system who's doing everything that they can do to help achieve this vision and to free you up from certain things and, shield you from certain things so you can really focus in on that greater vision. So in some ways it gets a little easier. It's kind of, what I've always talked about learning to play the acoustic and then jumping to the electric. It's a whole lot easier to play the electric guitar if you've, worked your fingers on an acoustic first. So in some ways it's like that, but however, you are managing a whole lot more people, which means a lot of different personalities, more room for conflict and drama that you have to control. But as long as you're communicating with everybody, that's not too much of a problem, and it can get overwhelming. But as long as, again, as I was saying before, you put your head down, you do the work, it's not too much different. How many ideas for projects do you have that don't ever see the light of day due to timing, resources, budget, etc.? I don't even know. I mean, if you're talking about through the course of, my professional career, let's say everything after film school, definitely hundreds. At least 200, I would say. Right now I'm working on, I have about 30 ideas that I really like, 10 that I think are really strong, and 5 that I'm currently developing. And none of those might see the light of day. It's, you just always headed in a direction. For me, that's all I can do is you're trying to develop projects that are going to hopefully get off the ground at some point. And right now I'm focused on trying to go the feature route. And so I'm developing all these different ideas, and will any of them actually work out? I don't know, but I'm sure as hell going to try. And that's really all you can do. But for every idea, that works, or every short film that I've made, there was another 50 that didn't. Best tips for improving pace: cut until you've cut too much and then add it back in. It's, whenever you think you've made it too tight, it probably could tighten up a little bit more. People get really precious about the shots that were really difficult to pull off, or the moments that they really like, that they're impressed with themselves that they were able to do, but did it work? Some of my favorite shots from several of my short films didn't even make it into the short because I felt that it didn't help the story or the experience I was trying to build for my audience. And that's the thing. And a bit of advice that a filmmaker gave me a long time ago is no one knows how difficult the shot was but you, so they're not impressed. So just because something took you guys 22 takes and 5 hours to pull off doesn't mean it needs to stay in the short. No one's impressed by that. They're only impressed if they love it. Now they want to know how you did it. But if it's something that just holds the short back in some way, you're hurting the project as a whole, which is why they say you got to kill your babies or whatever it is. It's kind of a deranged thing to say, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't make it up. Okay. Don't judge me. So for me, it was early on about tightening things until I thought it was too far, showing it to people, realize, oh, this actually could be tighter, and then tightening it some more. Now it's gotten much, much easier over time. Now I feel that pace a lot more. So I feel like I'm getting things a lot closer off the bat than I used to, say 4 or 5 years ago. But even Ballistic, that was some of the notes that I got from people, was that certain moments were too slow and needed to be tightened up. So I still wasn't feeling that pace fully, which is why really trusted input is so important, or just watching it with people that hadn't seen it. Because there were some moments where I didn't even need notes. It was just watching with somebody who hadn't seen it before, and I felt how slow a moment was playing just by, being able to experience it with those fresh eyes. Logo. So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. And that is, again, Letterboxd, which I talked about on the show before. They're not a sponsor. I've never communicated with the creators of this at all, but I love the app. So this is the movie lover app of all movie lover apps. You can create lists, which I've created several lists. I probably should spend less time creating lists, like, favorite action films, favorite Western films, or you can do private lists, which I have a few private lists, like, films that I'm wanting to watch, or, some films from 2018 that I still haven't seen. I made a whole list of all the films of 2018 that I want to watch, and I've just been going through that, which has been a great way to watch movies, because I have noticed that it gets to the end of the night and you want to watch a movie because we all love movies and you're tired. And for some reason, I always end up going to a movie I know I'm going to be disappointed in, because I think there's a part of your mind that's like, oh, I'm too tired to watch the one I really respect, so I'll just watch this because I'm just turning my brain off. But now that I have this list, I'm only watching the movies from that list, which is keeping me from the fast food movies, and I'm just watching delicious film after delicious film, and I haven't been disappointed in many films. So it's just been great to do it that way. So beyond the list, you can see what your friends are watching, and everybody rates what they've seen, and it's not the trollery of the Rotten Tomatoes or what you see on YouTube. It's just a bunch of movie lovers. So it's a really great app. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. But that's it, and until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.